Hey cousins, happy Sunday. So in this video, we're going to talk about my husband can't read. Would you marry a man or a woman? This is for both men and women, okay? Would you marry a person that couldn't read, um, but have self-respect? Okay, there it goes. Men and women, can you marry a person who cannot read or write but gives respect and peace of mind? Happy Sunday again. So, story time. So, I was catching up with one of my friends, my sister girls. We grew up together uh last week. And so we was talking about, remember this girl, remember that time, girl, remember when we got locked out the house and we could get the house and we had to push Latricia up the house so she could go through the window to unlock the. We were just catching up, right? So she was like, girl, remember that time they was trying to push off this man on you that couldn't read? And because you wrote books and you love to read, they thought you and him would be a good match and you could teach him to read. I was like, oh my God, girl. Yes, that's one of the times I left a church I was going to, because why would you think it's appropriate for me, the intellectual, the author, to marry a man who can't read? And they were saying, but he can learn to read. Yeah, but he hasn't learned to read. And obviously, somebody in the 21st century, we're not talking about my father's generation, Gen X. Let's say Gen X. Obviously, somebody who's a Gen X who can't read, something's wrong with them. They can't read. Like, who can't read in 20 and 26 or 2020 or whenever? I'm not talking about people with learning disability. My daughter has a learning disability. But if he does have a learning disability, no, I don't want to marry no man that has a learning disability. Okay? So I saw this post on Facebook and I was chuckling and I was like, let me post this in the community and see what the people are saying. So I saw one comment that said, but what if you fell deeply in love? How do you fall deeply in love with somebody who can't read? How do you fall deeply in love? So for me, the answer is no. For Janice, no, I cannot marry a man who doesn't read. Number one, I'm an intellectual. I love intellectuals. I love men who are smart, well educated, well spoken, well cultured, well read. I don't even like an educated man who doesn't read. That is one of the dating questions for me. When I was dating guys, I would ask them, "So, what is the last book you read?" And if they say they don't read, one man say, "Man, I'll only read the Bible." That was it for me. I didn't need any more information because I love men who read. That's one of the things I love about my husband. He reads. We buy each other books. I bought him books for birthday or wedding anniversary. He's bought me books. He even came back from an event and brought a book, The Warming of Other Suns, from an event he went to. I think he went to New Orleans sometime last year or something, and he brought back the book. And I was like, he read the book, and I was like, oh, I have to read the book. So I'm that type of person, and I want my man to be that type of person. Furthermore, how do I marry a man that I need, who can't read, that I need to submit to? I need to come under him. I need to respect, honor, adore, and he can't read. You mean to tell me he can't even read the Bible to tell me what the Bible says? You mean to tell me he can't go to the doctor with the baby and write the doctor notes down what the doctor said? He can't read the medicine to see how much medicine he needs to give the baby. He can't help the baby with the homework. Huh? My husband, me and him do little Michael homework. Huh? Lou Michael goes to a private school and he has to read books over the summer. And he's been reading 2 books over the summer since second grade. I've never read those books with him because that's what my husband does. Because my husband travels, he's really, really busy. So over the summer, his responsibility is to read with little Michael his 2 books. He needs to read and do the book report for school and do the project for school when he goes to September. You mean to tell me you can't do that with little Michael? And then my husband helps with homework. You mean to tell me you can't help with the homework, sir? Because you can't read. Me and my husband, we take turns doing homework. Like I'll do anything that's to do with reading, religion, social studies. My husband will do math and science. In the summer, though, I do all his extracurriculum, not extracurriculum, extra work. He goes to a summer program, and during the summer, I have his books. I have his Kumon books. I have his vocabulary books. So all summer, he is learning 20 new vocabulary words a week. We read. We have those workbooks. If you go on Amazon and you put in 6th grade math book or 6th grade summer book or 6th grade reading, I have all those books that I do with little Michael over the summer, so he doesn't lose what he gained over the year. And then my husband does the reading with him for the summer. So you want to tell me you can't help him? You can't help poor Lexi. Lexi's already special needs. You can't help poor Lexi come downstairs. And my special needs daughter can read, honey. Okay, I paid lots and lots of money for her to go to tutoring, got a special education teacher, and read. But sometimes she might need help. She may say, Mommy, what does this mean? Or I saw this on the TV. Or he go to Mr. Michael. Mr. Michael, she still called my husband Mr. Michael. Mr. Michael, what does this word mean? You mean to tell me you can't even tell the child what it means or define, get the dictionary? You mean to tell me over the summer when little Michael is doing his 20 new vocabulary words a week, if I'm tired and I feel you can't help, you don't even know how to define the word, can't open the dictionary, flip, no, I can't date, may God forbid, no man who can't read. And let me just say, my daddy couldn't read. That's probably why I'm the way I am. I was thinking about that. I said, that's probably why I am the way I am, where I like smart men, intellectuals, well-educated. What school did you go to? You mean to tell me you didn't even go to college? I'm not dating, marrying no man that didn't go to college. And I was thinking, I am probably the way I am because my daddy couldn't read. He could read to get around. But my cousin, we just sold my father's house last year or 2 years ago, and my cousin found letters and his business checkbooks that I wrote. And she called, she said, I couldn't believe at 12 years old you were doing all of this for your dad. I said, yes, because my daddy couldn't read. My father couldn't read. So no, I don't want no man who can't read. I don't even want an average educated man. I want a well-educated man. I want a brilliant man. So let's go to the comments and see what this says, okay? So it's a no for me. It's a no for me. It's a no for me. Okay, let's try to expand this a little bit. Be sure to subscribe, thumbs up. If you're new here, my name is Cousin Sister Auntie Janice, girl. Just pick one. And be sure to subscribe, hype this video up. Okay. Michelin Neal, 6892. Hey. She said, respect and peace of mind can't pay the bills I have or no bills for that matter of fact. Okay, girl. Stacy JD 2759. She said, no. Oftentimes, folks that can't read and write lack reasoning, communication, and comprehension skills. Doesn't mean they are a bad person, but that can spell disaster for any long-term relationship. Exactly. Amanda NBS says 100% she agree. Soft butterfly. Oh, I love that. Soft butterfly XOXO. She said exactly. Cheryl 3023. She said absolutely. Respect is free, and there's nothing like a peace of mind. I don't know how a man who can't read give you a peace of mind, girl. How does somebody who can't read instructions give you a peace of mind? Can't read the Bible. Tawny B 5429. She says, nope, we can be friends. Associate, I don't even want to be friends. Totally agree. I don't want to be friends because I don't need any more new friends. And friends need time and talking on the phone. I ain't got time. Okay. Riwada 4174. Great question. Really makes us think. Thank you. Virgo to fly. She said LMAO. F3042, because it's Janice. You are funny and correct. Thank you, babes. Aunt 7785. I'm assuming it's a she. She said, absolutely not. Men already get angry that their partner possibly getting paid more than them. Now I got to worry about you beating up everyone else because he's angry that our 3-year-old baby learned how to read before his big grown self did. I did not want to deal with that. No, man, right. Right? Right. 3, you can't even help the baby with his schoolwork. The 3-year-old, Daddy, look what I wrote. His name, and you can't even spell his name. You can't even spell your name. Blessed Vivi, she said, I hollered. Me too, girl. Lord have mercy. Riwada, she said, I would definitely consider the whole person. Some people didn't have access to education. Ma'am, we're talking about I'm Generation X. Generation X is 1965 to 1980. So who didn't have access to education? Generation X. Huh? Some people didn't have access to education, but are amazing people with successful careers and trades, own their own business, and have a wealth of practical life experience. They often treat others well and have kind hearts. They can also learn to read and write anytime. Okay, so why haven't they learned to read and write? And who's reading all those business documents they're signing? Huh? Who's reading all those business documents they have to sign? What kind of wealth of practical life experience you can't read? I'm talking Generation X. They can also learn to read and write anytime. Why haven't they learned to read and write? When are they going to learn to read and write? Ruwada said, yes, respect and peace of mind are the most important things for substantial married. Income can be worked out as a partnership. Maybe they can read and write in another language. You never, girl, no. You making all kind of excuses, boo-boo. How do you have peace of mind? He can't read and write. I don't understand. In this, I'm talking about for Generation X. So we're growing up in this society. Huh? We're not talking about income. This is not about income. This is about, can he read and write? Cheryl says nope. D girl 3102, I would consider if his character is right, I can read and write so I can fill that gap if I feel the leading of God. No, girl, is not going to lead you to reading no man who can read. Fill what gap? Listen, did you hear everything you have to do? Huh? You have to go to the doctor. You have to do all the homework with the kids. You have to read all the men. You can't even leave the baby at home. There are days little Michael is not feeling well, and I have to leave little Michael with Big Mike. My husband is not working from home, and he needs to give the baby the medicine. I taught my husband, I said, you go, both me and my husband go to the doctor, because God forbid anything happened to me. I want my husband to know how to handle the kids, what to do, when to do, how to do. No, it's a no, girl. Probably you can fill that gap. Girl, what? You gonna read the Bible to him every day. You gonna sit and do his devotional. Kia 2714 says yes. Matthew 6:33 says I absolutely can, because he can learn how to read and write. Why hasn't he learned to read and write? But it's almost impossible to learn how to be a good person. Why hasn't he learned to read and write? This is like, would you marry somebody who's a smoker, but he say he gonna stop? Okay, why hasn't he stopped? Rwanda, again, she said, also to answer the question in the description, how can you fall in love with a man who can't read? Well, how's dating all those readers going? Great. How many people really read deeply? We're not talking about reading deeply. We're not talking about, most people do not read deeply because they're not readers. I'm a reader. My husband is a reader. But the average person is not a deep reader. How many people really read deeply and comprehend written information these days. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about basic reading. My daughter, basic reading to get around. Lexi can read a sign. Lexi can read a paragraph and tell you what she read. Lexi can read a Bible story and tell you what she read. That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about Janice reading. Most people doom scroll and watch TV. Okay, first of all, even though we had TV, but people didn't start scrolling TV like, I'll say 20, Lexi's 32, the last 20 years, maybe. It could be possible to develop depth of thought and character, intelligence, integrity without reading. I don't know how, boo boo. You no. If the person gave meaningful life is the person might have disability. That's different. We're not talking about a disability, right? And no, I wouldn't marry somebody who has a disability that makes reading and writing difficult, but they can learn using audiobooks. Okay. How? When did we get audiobooks? And why hasn't he learned? Or other way? What other ways? Feeling safe with each. I can't feel safe with nobody can't read. He can't read. Where are we going? Foundation to a lasting memory. Everyone, no. Aaron Jen said, nope. Somebody, B Candy response. She said, how can you say this? Who is going to feel safe giving their daughter to a husband who cannot do the elementary basics of life? That means when you go get the marriage certificate, he can't even read the instructions, y'all, and read and write. How can she or her parents have peace of mind with that? And we're not talking about disability. We're talking about able body, not able to read and write. Right. Be candid. Thank you, cousin. Parent says, nope. Juliet Brown, it will not work no matter how you take it. After a while, serious problems are going to develop. There's no peace of mind. Don't do it. Right. I'm just thinking about everything my husband has to do. There's sometimes me and little Michael, we are doing, like, let's say reading comprehension, right? He had one last night where they were talking about different types of communication tools. And we have 3 questions that we couldn't answer. And we said, okay, we're going to wait for daddy to help us with this. So I couldn't even be able to do that with him. No, ma'am. And 7785 respond, reminds me of when my 94-year-old grandmother had to sign his name, grandfather, on a document. I don't know if the old man didn't know how to read or write, or if he just simply forgot. Old boy sat up there and wrote, Tobo, not Tom Brown, Jesus Christ, which is his name. Many legal problems could arise when this is the case. It's too risky to marry anyone that can't read or write. And again, we're talking about Generation X. I'm not really even talking about our grandparents. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm 48 years old. Would I marry a 48-year-old man that can't read? It's a no for me. And Krista Free, she says no. Thank you, babes. Okay. So you tell me in the comments, would you marry a man who can't read? Again, listen to what I said in the video. Hashtag read. We're not talking about an intellectual, right? I love intellectual men. My husband is an intellectual. My husband read books. Me and him read books together and talk about it. I'm not talking about my daughter who has a learning disability, who's been in special education her whole life. Lexi started special education, learning intervention 30 years ago at 2.5 years old. You should see little Lexi with her little book bag walking to the big old bus to get on the bus to go to the special needs school for learning. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about a regular person. Granted, if you can't read and you went through school and you can't read, then you do have a learning disability. I love you, my cousins. Let me know what you think about this. Come on back. Oh, be sure to watch the Married at First Sight video review I did live yesterday of episode 4, and let me know what you think about that. Leave a comment for me. I'll be in the comments today. I love you. Bye. Oh, and the husband profile is coming up in September. Don't you marry no man who can't read, girl. Don't do it. about your children. Huh? When you go to his little Christmas play, the daddy can't even read to see which group he's in. Don't do it. I love you. I love you. I love you. I'll talk to you later. Bye.